Hi everyone and welcome to 外国人介绍台湾新闻. This is the series where a bunch of foreigners trying to discuss Taiwanese news. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. Today we have Ray, Germain, and Yuanyuan here with us. If you have no idea who they are, check my previous videos because we're gonna get started right away with the news that NTU and a bunch of other Taiwanese universities actually starting to grant mental health leave or just extra days off to take care of some mental health for their students. I have a very stressful life. Sadly, I don't have any mental health days or even sick days. But I wanted to ask if you would have any specific mental health days, what would you do during your one day off to reboost your batteries and your energy? Let's save you for last because I know what you're going to talk about.
For me, if I had mental health days, I would probably spend most of those days doing sport, exercising, like running or hiking, watching beautiful landscapes. I think that makes me feel so much better in general. Every time I don't feel happy about work or I feel like it's been a rainy week, I go out, I run, and I feel like recharged, 100% back.
I've heard about this. Like I heard that people like feeling more like refreshed and energized after workout.
Yeah.
Never works for me. if I would take a day off to go like running, I would need like 3 more days off for like physical health relief, you know?
The beginning is hard. The beginning, you hate it. First few days, your body just wants to poo, to burp, to throw up. Yeah, it's painful the first few days.
But luckily we have good toilets here in Taiwan.
Actually, it's a funny thing. The first few days I wanted to run near a public toilet. So in case of emergency, I'm sure I could go directly run to the toilet. And believe it or not, it happens almost every time in the beginning.
We just go trail running.
Trail running, okay. I'm not at this level yet.
Too risky right now.
Oh, you could just with a shovel and just go into like behind a bush or something.
We're not in Xiaolocho anymore, you know? We don't do that in Taipei.
Regarding this news, from now on, you would be able to take days off and you don't have to justify the reason. You're just allowed a couple of days off per semester, no questions asked, right?
Yeah.
I think that's really good. But I also wonder one thing is when you have the exam at the end of the semester, you still have the exam, right? So you.
Oh yeah, I read that too. But in Taiwan, it's like they take attendance.
Oh, they take attendance as a criteria.
Yeah, so it's like your overall grade would be like, you know, depreciated or whatever depending on your attendance. So this would be a way of like you can still skip classes. In Sweden, like you skip 2 months and then you have one test and then you take it. So in Sweden, it doesn't really matter.
I foresee a lot of people taking mental health days off right before, right after a long weekend.
To go free diving.
Yes, take a free dive course. Was this something that you think they'll institute with like work and companies?
I hope so. With work, it's just a little bit different because you still get paid, right, to take these days off.
Still get paid?
No, I mean if you take a sick day.
The first day is not paid.
Oh really? Oh.
Starting from the second day, I think is it 100% or 80%? But
I thought it was 50% every day. Like every sick day you take is like always 50%.
The first day, I don't think it's paid.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would be taking a lot.
Previous work, I wouldn't even take days off. Like for sick days, I would show up to work sick and then get sent home.
Oh.
Because otherwise, people would be like, "Sicky, huh? Oh, I saw him at the bar last night." Something like that, right? You know, when someone
maybe because you were at the bar last night. Where would you recommend to spend this mental health day?
Taiwan in general have a lot of good places to run. You just go out of your door and there is usually a park, nature, mountain near, river. Anything is near you when you live in Taiwan. Taiwan is a small island where anything is close to you, even a 7-Eleven for any occasion. And I don't think there's a special good place where you want to run. If you want to be near a river, just go to the Keelung River. If you want to go to a mountain, maybe Yamingshan can be not too far. Even if you live in other cities, I think almost every city has a small river, has a mountain near. So there is always a good spot to run, actually.
I feel even though Taipei is like super busy city and very loud sometimes, you only need, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes and you find yourself in a super quiet place in nature. Could be the riverside, you don't hear the traffic anymore, or any kind of small mountains, like I have a little mountains behind my place. When you get there, you are in the middle of the nature, like there's no car, no sounds, it's just like birds. So I think that's great.
We're saving the best for last now. The furthest traveled guest for last, because I already know what you're going to say.
well, maybe not.
Okay, what are you gonna say?
No, I think nature.
Skydiving.
Well, specifically shallow chill, to go free diving, if you want to be very specific. But I think it's just to be in nature or exercise in nature, right? In Japan, they have something called forest walking, and they have studies on that, and it shows it reduces cortisol levels. You add a little bit of exercise into that, you got the dopamine and stuff. I think in the modern world, the city life and stuff like that, we're in artificial light, artificial air, everything's artificial, and we lose sort of our connection to Earth, and that sort of leads to mental health issues, I guess, amongst other things. Being in the ocean, I feel so much better.
In Sweden specifically, just because like we're famous for like not having sunlight 5 months per year. So like they do a lot of tests like for like vitamin D and like sunlight specifically. And it's like as a population, like we get so depressed around like March when we're spent like 5 months without sun, you know. But for me personally, like I'm okay with no sun. I can sit in my YouTube studio for like weeks, no problem. But our previous apartment was like so loud. This is like so quiet. And I realized when we were living there, not saying that you are loud, but like the neighbors and like the traffic, and like that made me realize the importance of like silence. Like just going to the riverside, not for like running, but just like walking and like silence.
I don't want to do my French here, but sometimes I also like the opposite actually. I like to be surrounded by noise. I like to be out, and maybe the energy of the city will give me some energy myself. But being in a place where there is no sound, nothing around, nothing to do, like in Lincoln, it scares me a lot. No. I'm kidding about this. I'm serious when I say that. Yeah. I like to feel the energy of the people, to hear talking, to hear dogs, to hear people walking, running, to hear anything that makes life actually.
You wouldn't last a day in Sweden. Like,
yeah. Actually, I really think that.
You know, in Sweden, like my parents' house, we have a train track.
Yeah.
That is like birdway, like through the forest. Like it's 5 kilometers away, and you will hear the train track. Like you will hear the train coming like 5 kilometers away. That's like the level of quiet I grew up in, you know. So yeah, that's quiet.
But I was the same way when I was your age, so
I look young, but I'm old also actually.
you have no idea how old I am.
Never compete age with an Asian.
Like the 20s, right?
You need to remember a long time ago.
The 30s, I was in Hong Kong for a long time.
Okay.
And like Hong Kong's even more frenetic, right?
Yeah, right.
And like I loved it, but I knew I had to get away from it once in a while.
Speaking about like leaving like the hectic like Hong Kong, for those of you who may have forgotten, Ray, you're a free diver instructor in Xalocho.
Correct.
Which, at least according to National Geographic's, is a mecca for free divers. Which brings me on to the other news that we have Deep Dive.
Deep Week.
Deep Week. We have Deep Week coming up in November.
So November 18th to the 25th, 2023. It's a 1-week dive camp or festival, and it's bringing like Adam Stern. He's one of the top freediving YouTubers out there and educators, and Alexei Molchanov, which is the GOAT of freediving. He's like the Michael Jordan of freediving or the Roger Federer of freediving. And so this is the first time this Deep Week's being held in Taiwan in Xalocho. Different styles of teaching. You also have like Adam.
He taught me everything I had to learn before the actual exam.
On YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So it's like for beginners as well.
Beginners as well, yeah.
So I took your class, which I highly recommend, by the way. I don't understand the relaxation part of it. Because to me, it's still like, it's just like snorkeling underwater.
Yeah.
No, but it's like, I enjoy it, but it's not like I feel relaxed. And like, because I mean, when we have talked like off camera, the way you're describing it is almost like therapy for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really getting that. I'm getting like, oh, like it's a beautiful sea turtle. Let me swim. Let me swim and take a closer look. You know, that's like me in the water.
But most people like exercising, and you don't.
Fair point.
The one thing with freediving that really helped me is help control my temper, because
So I can like annoy you as much as I want. And you're like,
yeah. Trust me, driving around on a scooter on the island with a bunch of tourists can get pretty annoying. And so I think freediving, when you're diving deep and holding your breath, it's a very stressful situation. And, you know, in a beginner class, you're not going to be able to just like switch off and relax, right? But I've done thousands, hundreds of dives, and I could just feel that switch going on. Oh, just relax. And I just relax. If someone almost runs me over on the street, I don't get super angry, show them the bird and start yelling him. I just kind of relax. I'm like, all right, still alive, cool.
I want to know why Taiwan is the best spot for free diving, actually.
It's a good spot for free diving. It's not the best.
I need to say it's the best. I can't tell why. But...
I think it's a great spot for free diving. Shallow Chill is a great spot for free diving because it's a really good depth from shore. Every time you go out, you'll see a sea turtle. It's got year-round diving.
I've never been there, actually, so...
You've never been to Shallow Chill?
No, never.
We need to make this happen.
We need to make
breathe,
this happen.
relax. This is what we've been talking about. Don't get upset.
I've never been, yeah. And you know, it's always a question, should we go first to Green Island or to Xiaoliuqiu?
Okay.
Well, if you wait long enough,
I'm just gonna hold him right now. I have to make sure you get to visit Xiaoliuqiu then. Absolutely, like before it was Kenting, but now it's hands down. Xiaoliuqiu is my favorite place in Taiwan.
You're alone down there and you're seeing amazing things. It's quiet and you feel like you're flying. I don't know if you also have this feeling. For me, like the feeling that you're almost like flying is amazing. You cannot fly outside, unfortunately, even if you do this very fast.
You feel so small, but yet connected to the ocean, to earth. You're holding your breath, so you're very present. You're very in a very meditative state. No pressure, just your only
a little bit of pressure because it's down there.
Oh yeah, the water pressure, but it's really hard to explain.
But something else that I think is very hard to explain. Thank you for the transition, by the way. According to the article in like Taiwan News, Taiwan, it has the second highest number of like licensed freedivers. 90,000 freedivers. When I look at the average Taiwanese person, I don't think freediver.
One good thing is that, yes, it's causing more Taiwanese to learn to swim.
Actually, I don't understand why they don't learn at school. They live on an island.
Well, I made a whole video about this very recently. Can link the video up there. I was interviewing a lifeguard, so he gave some really good information, and mostly it's a culture thing. Like in the US, they have a lifeguard culture. They grow up with lifeguards being around, and the lifeguards are active. They go and talk to people on the beach. People learn slowly how to swim with someone protecting them. And Taiwan doesn't really have that.
Thank you all so much for watching. That was everything we had to talk about today. But if you have any more news or updates or anything else Taiwan related that you may or may not want to hear some foreigners' opinions about, please do reach out to our social media or just leave a comment down below and maybe we'll talk about that in the next episode. But if you cannot wait until then, you actually have another video right here and another one right here, which you both can watch right now. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lukas. It starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both and see you all in the next one.